In this video, we're going to be talking about how to find the surface area of geometric shapes. So we're going to be using this section of the mathematics chart. Now you'll see that there are multiple formulas here, and I'm going to walk through all of them in this video so that you can write them down. But you're going to find that there's going to be quite a bit of notes in this section, so you may have to, if I get ahead of you, may have to slow down just a little bit and make sure you catch up to me and then play the video again. So you may have to pause and play different times. Let's start with a cube. We're going to talk about the surface area of a cube, and it is equal to 6s squared. Now basically a cube, and again, I'm not the best artist in the world, but this is one of the few I can sort of draw. Cube looks like this. Sort of like rolling dice in a board game with your family. It's got multiple sides. As a matter of fact, a die, when you roll dice, each of the dice has 6 sides. You'll notice the formula. This makes it really logical. 6s squared. So let's say in a cube, and just to make sure you understand this, a cube is square on all sides. So let's say that they tell us that the side is 3 and they want to know its surface area, which means surface area is basically you're going, it's a good example would be if you're going to paint it. Let's say you wanted to paint all the sides of this cube, top, bottom, sides, all of it. How much surface area is there? Well, you take the formula 6s squared, and you're going to take 6 times the side, which is 3 squared. Now, order of operations says you have to do the square first. So 3 times 3 is 9. 6 times 9, 54. That's how you would get the surface area of a cube. They're going to give you the side length, and all you have to do is plug it in the formula. Now again, if you need your calculator, use your calculator to multiply all those numbers to make sure you get it right. This is how you do the surface area of a cube. All the sides are exactly the same, and so they're a bunch of squares, and there's 6 of them, 6 sides. That's why you end up multiplying it by that. Now you don't have to know why it's a 6, but it helps it make logical sense. You're just plugging the numbers in a formula. Let's try another one. Let's talk about prisms. Now there's 2 formulas for a prism. First one is called the lateral, and the next one is called total. So let's talk first about what a prism is. Here's an example of a prism. I'm going to zoom in for a minute so you get a look at it. As a matter of fact, if you want to draw it, that might be a good idea too. But here's a prism. It's actually a triangle on the end, and it's just really tall. So it's almost like if you took tortilla chips and the triangle ones like these, like Dorito chips, and you just stacked them on top of each other. That's really what a prism would look like. It's lots and lots of layers, but on the end, it's really just a triangle. And so we're going to talk about the difference between these 2 formulas. Again, we're going to do surface area. Let's say you wanted to paint all of the sides, and let's say this is a building. You want to paint all 3 of the sides of the triangle, and so let me zoom back, and let's use the formulas and see what they tell us, okay? So I'll push my picture there for a minute. Prism, its formula is going to be S equals P times H, and the surface area for total is PH plus 2B. Now it's going to be very important. I'm going to put a star here. I need to define 2 things that are on this formula chart. P is going to mean the perimeter of the base of the shape. Perimeter. Now I'm going to circle this word. Now that makes it easy because it's a P. Then some of the formulas they're going to use a B. So notice there's a big P and there's a big B. B is going to be the area of the base of the shape. Okay, see if we can make this make sense. Remember, in the last couple of videos ago, we talked about the difference between perimeter and area. Perimeter is walking around the outside. So if I wanted the perimeter of the base of this shape, it's sitting on a triangle, so it's a triangle at the top. If I started at this corner and I walked around the outside, that's a perimeter. Remember we talked about putting a fence around your yard, that goes around the perimeter. Area is different. Area is going to be all the space inside, so you've got to be really careful when you do this. P equals perimeter and B equals base. Now you may think, well, this is a little confusing. They actually print what these mean right here on the formula chart for you, but I'm going to show you how to use them. All I'm doing is rewriting them. Okay? So now that you have the notes, let's see if we can do that for our little picture here. If we're going to use this prism that has a 3, 4, 5, and then it's 8 feet tall, matter of fact, if you want to, you may want to pause the video and draw this picture before we do it, then come back and we'll work it. All right, in a question, if they ask for this lateral surface area, you're going to use this formula, and S is going to equal to P times H. H is going to be the height, so we know that that's going to be 8. And P, we just wrote down a minute ago, is the perimeter, which means walking all the way around of it. So if I walk 4 and then 5, that's 9. 10, 11, 12, that's a total of 12. Let me do that again. Perimeter is walking around that base. So 4 plus 5 is 9. 10, 11, 12 gives me all the way around it. 12 times 8. Well, I'm going to take my calculator just to make sure I get it right. 12 times 8 is 96. So the surface area of this one is 96. What we just calculated is the lateral, which basically means just the sides. If I painted all the way around the outside of this building. But if I want to know the total, formula looks close, but it has this 2b. And what that means is the B is the area of the base. Well, basically what that means is not just painting around the sides, you're going to paint the top and the bottom of this prism. You're going to have all of this area. So pH, we just calculated, was 96. So we're going to have to add to that. B meant the area of this triangle. So it's the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So that's 1/2. The base is 3, and the height is 4. So 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. That's all big B. And it says 2 of those. So this equals 6. So 2 times 6 gives me 12, plus my 96. So let me explain very quickly. pH, that's all 3 of the big sides, just like this right here. The bases, it sits on 2 triangles, so we have to get the area of those triangles. So it's 1/2 base times the height, because that's a triangle, and that's what big B is going to be. So we plug the numbers in that's 6, and there's 2 bases, one there and one there, grand total of 12. Add those together, 96 plus 12, grand total 108. That one's a little difficult. Notice there's a difference between the answers. This is the one that was total, and this one was lateral. All I did was follow the formulas and plug the numbers where they go. Now, if you got confused on that, you may back the video up and watch that again, and make sure you see where I plug the numbers in. We're going to go on to another geometric